During the design process, one of the key things we want to maintain is focus. Remaining focused can help stick to timelines, and it can give us some boundaries and objectives to work with. This keeps us on track so we don't digress and stress out about what to do next. In a previous video, we covered one of the most important parts of the design process, where we undertook brainstorming to generate lots of awesome ideas we could potentially base our logo design around. This process opened up a lot of potential ideas. In this video, we are going to organize our ideas and outline a clear creative direction which is going to set up everything we do from this point onwards. So let's get into it. So here I am with my design process checklist. Now, once adequate time has been spent on brainstorming and we have checked each task, we can now move into step 4 in phase 1. So the fourth step in the discovery phase is plan creative direction. By this point, we've done a lot of thinking and hopefully we'll have lots of ideas to consider. Now it's time to start focusing on the ideas we think are the strongest and what we want to base our design on going forward. The goal here is to get a clear creative direction of what we will need to look into and explore next visually to give us some reference and inspiration on how we could bring our ideas to life. In this step, we will take our ideas from the brainstorming sessions and organize them into action points we can take going forward. So to organize my ideas and define my creative direction involves 3 tasks. 1. Establish creative territories. Task 2. List visual research. And task 3. Define what I need to create. So to do this, I use a pre-designed Illustrator document which I can use to consolidate information from the brainstorming session. If you want to follow along, you can get the creative direction doc from the project folder. So with your project folder open, click into folder 1, Learn and Discovery, into folder 6, Creative Direction, and click on the Illustrator doc labeled Creative Direction, and you'll have the same document I have open here. So here you can see my creative document sheet consists of 3 pages. 1. Concept territories. 2. What to look into. And 3. What to create. What I'm going to do is fill out these 3 sheets, and once complete, this will give me focus and a clear direction. So before we begin, it may help to see what we are going to lead up to, so you can get a better understanding of this process. So with the course folder open, click into the Design Process Example folder. Click into folder 1, Learn and Discovery, into folder 6, Creative Direction, and click on the Illustrator doc labeled Example Creative Direction, and you'll have the same document I have open here. So this is a document I have prepared earlier. Here you can see my creative direction I'm going to take going forward. So on the first page, I have my concept territories. Now, when designing a logo, it's a good idea to identify a core theme, idea, or a concept to base it on. This will ensure whatever is designed has a specific meaning, purpose, and a story behind it. Here I have listed 3 chosen territories or themes I want my design to revolve around, with a brief description summarizing the key concept ideas. On the next page I have what to look into. Here I have listed exactly what visual research I'll intend to look into for each territory. And on the last page I have what to create, where I list exactly what I'll intend to develop design for. So with that overview, I'll just quickly take you through my creative direction process so you can understand how you too can do this yourself. So here I'm back with my blank document, and if you wish to open your blank document, you can follow along with me. With your project folder open, click into the project folder, into project 1, Learn and Discovery, into folder 6, Creative Direction, and click the Illustrator document labeled Creative Direction. So I'll begin with the first task. 1. Establish creative territories. So if I come back to my brainstorming document, I have lots of ideas here on my initial themes page generated from the qualities and creative interpretations pages. Right now, this is all pretty raw and just words on a page. Next, I need to be decisive and settle on specific ideas and define concept territories I want to base my design on going forward. Now, a concept territory is basically a distinct idea or theme. Now, when we design for anything, we want to avoid making arbitrary decisions. It's the quality of your ideas which will result in the quality of your logo design. When designing anything, you should always try and have a good idea first, before thinking about the end result. When you have a good idea, It makes the whole logo design process easier, less stressful, and more fun. So it's always good to define and establish concept territories early on, because these can give us clear creative direction to focus our design on going forward and ensure our design has meaning and purpose. Now, when undertaking brainstorming, it's common for us to identify a variety of different ideas and themes we could base our logo design on. Now, we should always look to find as many awesome ideas as we can initially, and then narrow them down into the best. So here, I'm going to take a bit of time to think over my brainstorming and establish some concept territories I'd like to base my logo design on. What I'm looking to do here is come up with a title for a territory and outline a sentence to sum it up. So starting on the first page, I'm going to place at least 3 chosen territories with a short sentence that sums up what the idea or theme is about. So after some thought and reflecting on my brainstorming session, here I've gone with loving it for the title of my first territory, and the idea here is a celebration of one of the strongest emotions of euphoria, love. Euphoria is a place where people experience love for dance music, live music, pumping beats, shared experience, and community. This was one of the ideas that stood out to me from my brainstorming session. The festival was named Euphoria because it is a place where people feel amazing emotions. I like the idea of focusing on one of the prominent emotions of euphoria, which is love. Here, I think it could be really cool to base a logo around the idea that people love the experience, love the music, and love sharing it with other people. Next is Soul Sync for the title of my second territory, and the idea here is a place where people share the same spiritual experience of euphoria. This was another idea that stood out to me. A festival can be a spiritual experience when experiencing sound and rhythm with thousands of other people. I like the idea of focusing on the spiritual side of it, where people dance and synchronize together to music and beat. And the last is Dance Heaven for the title of my third territory, and the idea here is a place to escape and experience euphoria. This was another idea that stood out to me. A festival can be a place where people can escape their normal lives for a short time and experience euphoria. I like the idea of focusing on the escapism side of things, where people can escape a normal life and experience all things dance music and all things euphoria at Dance Heaven. So here are 3 very different routes I have identified through my brainstorming process I think would be really awesome to develop a logo around. Now, it's important that these are very different ideas to offer a different way of looking at the project. This will ensure variety is considered and developed later on in the process. Once I'm happy with my chosen territories, I'll move on to the next task. 2. List visual research. So on the next page, I'm going to outline all the areas I want to look into visually for inspiration for each chosen territory, with an idea of how the design will aim to look and feel. So here I have listed my 3 territories and the things I want to look into for each. Here I have Creative Territory 1, Loving It, and here I want to research symbols for euphoria, love and passion, rhythm, pulse, and dance. And for the look and feel, this one will be bold, impactful, and use clean and clear typefaces. Next is Creative Territory 2, Soul Sync, and here I want to research symbols for euphoria, tribalism, unity and connection, synchronization, and human spirit. And for the look and feel, this one will be more human, organic, and use softer typefaces. And last we have Creative Territory 3, Dance Heaven, and here I want to research symbols for euphoria, psychedelia, ethereal twist, portal, and escapism. And for the look and feel, this one will feel more spacious, ethereal, and use minimal typefaces. So here there are 3 very different routes to explore, with the visual areas I'd like to look into to get inspiration to see how these routes could come to life visually, with an idea of how they should look and feel. So once I'm happy with my list for visual research, I'll move on to the last task. 3. Define what I need to create. So the last page acts like a design mission page. This should clearly outline all the things I want or need to develop for the creative solution. So for our logo project, we are looking to create a logo identity, and as I develop this, I'll be looking to design a logo symbol to represent the Euphoria Festival, a logo type to represent the Euphoria Festival, and a possible logo system to work with the 4 festival locations. So with this filled in, I'll now have a fully focused creative direction to move on with. Now I know exactly what visual research I need to do in the next step and what I need to develop my design for. Now, in this video, I demonstrated my thinking and the cool ideas I think would be really awesome for this project. Now, you are welcome to follow along with my example, but if you are following along with this course and you have already undertaken the previous brainstorming session, I would recommend you put your own ideas down here. So if you're following along with your own design idea, take a pause and carry out your process. Perhaps you may have some other cool ideas in mind you would like to base your design around. Before moving on, undertake the same process I just demonstrated, but try and identify your own concept territories to base your logo design on. Be sure to come up with a sentence to sum up the idea and then list out what you would like to research visually for your chosen territory. Now, in my video, I came up with 3. Now, you don't have to do 3, however, try to do at least 1, which you can base your logo design on as we continue the design process. Don't forget, you can use the templates I have provided in the project folder, and remember, you will be able to use this later when you come to design your own logo. Once you have your own creative direction, let's continue. So with my creative direction complete, I can either keep it on my computer to come back to later, or I can print it out to place on my project wall. With my Illustrator doc complete, I'll come up to File, Save As, I'll change the format to PDF, then I'll navigate into my project folder and into the top folder Project Wall. I'll click into folder 1, Learn and Discovery, and save the file as Creative Direction. This will create an easy document which I can easily print out and refer back to later. Now, I love printing out my creative direction and placing it onto my project wall. I find it makes it much easier to glance at during my design process to keep me focused. So after this exercise, I won't be stressed or worried about what my ideas are going to be, because now I have some decisive options before me. Next, I can spend some time looking at visual research for each territory and get inspired. In the next video, things are going to start to get a bit more fun, where we will be taking our creative direction and looking to undertake lots of visual research to start to think about how our design can come to life. So see you in the next video.